Today we try to pronounce Chateauneuf-du-Pape. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent, and we're unapologetically, unfiltered, unprofessional wine journey. We're saying here, Jace.
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Trent, what has been on your mind?
What's been on my mind? I'm in tech. Yeah. And a lot of things in tech now is around AI. I'm looking at the horizon 2025, and a lot of the talks about AI agents.
Ooh.
And when I talk about that is talk about how when you start to talk about customer service, it's this kind of artificial intelligence person they start to interact with, be it through text, video, or through pictures. So it got me thinking about how does that apply towards the wine world? Obviously, it's already looking at AI in the vineyard in terms of what to do with the vines, etc. But I'm also thinking about for the consumer about AI sommelier.
Ooh, fancy, okay? Yeah.
And then, you know, you think about it in terms of how it's already kind of happening. Like you start to talk about things, you start to browse things on the web, and it's already starting to create patterns for the user.
Yep. So
you're looking at, lawnmowers, and something like lawnmower ads start popping up left, right, and center.
Yep.
So you're already starting to get that data, whether it's by the Facebooks or the Googles or whatever.
Yeah.
So the sommelier, made from the sommelier, started to pick up all that data, go, oh, you like Pinots, you like lighter bodied wines, and start to recommend you similar type of stuff. Think about that in terms of that type of use case.
Yes.
And then you think about it, you can then start to layer that with more enriched content. Think about like a Jancis Robinson talking to you when you're at a restaurant going, okay, yes, I would like a Pinot Noir, have you thought about this? Or like a Brad Pitt, or like a Angelina Jolie, or like a Ariana Grande, kind of talking through wine recommendations like a sommelier.
Like they're the avatar that's
correct.
Wow, okay, yeah. I'd definitely go for Angelina Jolie, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever takes your
Floats
fancy.
Your boat, yeah.
Floats your boat, exactly. So I asked I'm using the power against the power. So I asked AI about AI in terms of sommelier. And the 5 things...
Good number.
that I kind of talked about is around the first one. It can provide you personalized recommendations. So start to build those kind of pattern profiles on the consumer. So if you like whites or reds, you like full body, medium bodies, or light bodied wines, start to recommend you those type of wines. And have you tried this? Have you tried that? And something local in the area they can actually start to purchase or purchase from the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. Next one's food pairing. It's always been this mythical thing, we get it right, we get it wrong, but you start to look at, again, it's all about data. Think about all these different cuisines, spicy, non-spicy, sweet, non-sweet, richer, less rich type of foods. And think about, okay, what can I start to pair with?
Yep. And
the wines within the area that I can actually access to actually pair with those wines. They start to help you with that. Or from a wine list as well. Start to decrypt the wine list around the Italian area, the French region, and not look like a Muppet. You actually know what you're talking about because you've got your AI sommelier through the avatar of Angelina Jolie talking to you about it.
I'd listen to it all the time. Yep.
Other one is not just taking recommendations, but also wine education.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, they're talking about, carbonic maceration to you.
Yeah.
Or dreams
come true. Jeez.
Or Merlot through Chardonnay grapes, right? Talking about like the volcanic ash adds minerality to the styles of Etna Rosso that you're trying, right?
Sorry, I'll just imagine Angelina Jolie doing that. I've got a moment right now. Just give me a couple of seconds here. Okay, keep going. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what your wife said as well. Anyway, and virtual tastings.
Tell me about the virtual tastings. Yeah,
you can do virtual tastings.
Yeah.
With your AI sommelier, talking through a flight of wines, describing the wines, what you should be or could be kind of tasting through your nose, through your palate, through your eyes, through those wines, and start to learn a bit more. Wine education, think about that.
Yeah.
5th one, there's actually AI coming into the space already. There's one called the Bacchus bot. So Bacchus was the god of wine.
Oh, okay.
So there's already kind of like this coming to technology where it offers expert wine recommendations, food pairings, flavor profiles. It's like having a knowledgeable wine expert at your fingertips. 5 things that AI has told me about AI sommeliers. What are your thoughts on that?
Firstly, I love the number 5. That's great. Secondly, I think it's absolutely going to be a reality. And first, I've heard of this Bacchus AI bot.
Yeah.
And that would be fantastic. But it has to give you the right outcome. I've been talking to Charlie, an AI bot for this Southeast Asian airline company that I'm trying to get a refund for. I bloody hate Charlie. That AI bot doesn't understand what I'm saying, even though I'm writing it in plain English. It's got to get the right outcome.
Are you speaking Filipino or are you speaking?
I don't know. It's Southeast Asian. My wife got us the refund. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway.
Yeah. So obviously your wife can speak Filipino then.
She kind of twisted the bot. We went to humans at the end of the day. So I think it is the future. I'm very curious where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's getting better and better.
Yep.
I do feel that with every interaction that we have through insurance agencies, through customer service, through government, whatever like that, is still going to be an element of AI that's going to come into those interactions.
If there was a Trent AI bot serving me and recommending wine, man, I would go for that all the time. Angelina Jolie first, then you.
Yeah.
That's the way it would go.
Like, the Trent bot might not be completely right, but you have a lot of fun, and that's all that matters.
Yes. That's right.
What do you think about, James?
I've been thinking about 2 special letters. Were they numbers or letters? 2 special letters.
2, not 5.
Only 2.
Okay.
But I may talk about 5 things. Only 2 special letters that have popped up, and it came about. I've been seeing it, but I haven't really paid attention to it until we visited and attended the Wine Communicators Awards.
What are the letters?
Of 2024.
FU? No.
Not that one. A lot of people say that to me, but it's not FU. We were fortunate enough to attend the awards. We were fortunate enough to be finalists. How good was that? Well done.
Well done.
We were finalists there for the best social communicators for 2024. We were unfortunate to lose, but we were in great company. We were there with Pernod Ricard winemakers and Viticulture Australia. Viticulture Australia won at the end of the day, which is fantastic. But we were able to hear and meet some great people from the industry. And there was someone there that won the 2024 Wine Communicator Award of the Year, which was Andrew Callard. And at the end of his name, he had 2 letters, MW.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't FU, because that would be weird. Andrew Callard, FU. That would be a funny name, actually. I'd enjoy that. But it was MW. You know what MW stands for. What does MW stand for?
Master of Wine.
Master of Wine, right? And I'm like, what the hell makes a Master of Wine? Who can hand out these credentials?
I feel like Master of the Universe when I was younger.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of who else is a master. Like, I know Master Splinter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a rat.
He-Man, Master of the Universe.
Yeah. Anyone else? Andrew Callard's the only other master that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out what's so special about an MW Master of Wine. And using AI, going along with your theme, I asked ChatGPT, who the hell are the other bloody masters in the world, right? They spat out a couple, and you may recognize these. Leonardo da Vinci.
Wow.
Master of the Renaissance. William Shakespeare, master of playwright. Albert Einstein, master physicist. And then they threw out some interesting ones. Michael Jordan, master of basketball.
Wow.
Who labeled that? But okay.
It's all right. I thought Steph Curry would be.
He's going to join him. And then this one I thought was interesting. Elon Musk, master innovator. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
What do you reckon of those last 2?
I get it. Yeah.
I think there's a place there. I think about the younger TikToky generation. I reckon they're calling them goats. They're not calling them masters.
No.
They're calling them the greatest of all time.
Correct. I agree with you there.
Yeah?
No, but I think all of them, you're master of your own pathways, right? Master of your own journey, master of your own life.
Yes. You are the master of the Trent AI bot that's coming soon.
Did they mention Jason there as well?
No, not yet. That's coming.
Master of what?
I'm trying to feed it into ChatGPT.
Not working? Master of, I don't know.
But I'm like, okay, what's a master? A master to me is like, you're the person that's at the peak of your industry. You're Master Splinter. You've got these mad turtles, and is it martial arts kind of skills? You've got something there. Yeah. You've also got a lot of whiskers. You're the master. You're the peak, and you're giving sage advice. You're teaching other people, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think of as a master.
Mr. Miyagi, he wasn't a master. I felt like he was a bit of a master as well.
Why didn't they call him master? I don't get that.
Master
they should have.
Miyagi, yeah.
Historically, in Latin terms, master was called magister. Magister, yep. Which means a teacher or a chief. So you're kind of passing on your knowledge.
That's like why they call it a magistrate or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's the history behind it. And then if we think about education, someone that completes a master's degree, like the Masters of Arts, they're kind of the peak of that education and topic. So what I wanted to find out is, what are those 5 points that make someone special about Masters of Wine?
Okay.
And so a lot of this actually came from a gift that you've given me.
Yeah.
The Jansen Robinson's, it's the, what's it called? The Companion to Wine that you gave me as a gift.
Yeah.
So have a read of that. That's something, absolutely a body of knowledge that you need to have. And something that it's floated up on screen here. Everyone can see it. The Oxford Companion to Wine, 5th edition. Well worth a read. And so let's talk about those 5 things that make a Master of Wine special. 1, only the Institute of Masters of Wine can give you this title of MW. No one else. I can't just label someone an MW. It's got to come from this group. And they're a group of wine merchants that originally came from Britain. They were set up in Britain in the 1950s, but they're now an organization across the world.
Yeah.
Number 2, you have to pass a set of exams that the IMW Institute Masters of Wine conduct annually. So this involves 5 written papers and then 3 practical papers. And so the written papers, they cover a broad range of topics. They cover the ones that are usually in universities, so viticulture and is it enology, eonology, or
Wenology?
Wenology?
Yeah.
That sounds weird.
It is.
Are you sure?
It is wenology.
Wenology?
Yeah.
I've got a lot of that. So they cover those, but it's broader than that. So it's bottling, it's marketing, it's the impacts of health, of wine.
Yeah.
So that's what the written papers cover. And then the practical is a blind test. So it's kind of like the movies here. So a blind test of up to 12 wines that you need to describe and assess, and they could be from anywhere in the world. Number 3, there's only 417 active members worldwide. Only 417 people that have the MW at the end of it. Right. So it's a unique kind of space. Top countries ordered by the number of MWs are UK, which makes sense. That's where it originated from. Followed by US, followed by Australia, number 3, France, and then New Zealand. And in Australia itself, this is number 4. In Australia, there are only 25 active members that are MW. Andrew's one of them. Do you know who the first one was?
No. I don't know. Tell me.
1988, the first time they opened up internationals outside of Britain, was won by an Australian, Michael Hill Smith.
Oh, yes.
You knew that already, of course.
Yes. They do Sean Smith, Top Huddle, yeah.
Sean Smith, Top Huddle, MMAD. Which one is it? One of those?
MMAD, yeah.
MMAD. So he was the first one internationally to get it outside of Britain, and first Australian. And then number 5 in Australia itself, attaining an MW, well, across the world, attaining an MW doesn't necessarily mean that you need to work in the wine industry, and some people haven't. But it does present you great opportunities. So Andrew Callard, for example, great author. He's published quite a few books in the wine industry. He does the wine reviews. There's also wineries that have been set up by MWs in Australia. So Noon in South Australia is one of them. And then one I haven't had, Glengwyn in New South Wales is also another one. So those are 5 things that make our MW special.
Yeah, we did have another one as well. Earlier today, we had from Miraduck Estate, Kate McIntyre MW as well.
Ah, see, it's an esteemed list.
It is.
Part of the
small
25.
but esteemed list, yeah.
That's what I've been thinking about. So let's go on to the topic today. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. You said at the start, trying to pronounce something. What was it called?
It's hard to pronounce, but I just like saying Pape everywhere.
Pape.
I feel like I'm Drake or someone that's calling everyone Pape.
Okay, so the thing we're talking about today is called Chateauneuf-du-Pape. And they say that if you can say it, you're an expert. And I feel that You know, it's one of those things that once you know how to say it, you keep on saying it because it just sounds damn cool.
Yeah.
You know, a bit like when you first know how to say croissant properly, you say croissant and not croissant.
Yeah.
Or your first time you know how to say fur properly and not say faux.
Yes.
You know,
you
like,
sound cooler
you sound
straight
cooler,
away.
like, because you know what it is. You know how to say it. You look like you know what you're talking about. So I think it's one of those cool things. But in the industry, the cool cats, right? We call it CDP.
Really? Did you make that up, or I've never heard that term before?
I just did.
Yeah, okay.
I just made it just a thing because Châteauneuf-du-Pape just feels like you're saying
The Trent bot's come out with another one. That's good.
yeah. So I don't know whether you remember. You know, you were traveling with me in 2010, and we started in Marseille. We're going to Barcelona. We kind of like went past this town called Avignon.
Yep.
And Avignon there was this place, you know, was where the Pope used to live called Chateauneuf-du-Pape. And the reason why it's called Chateauneuf-du-Pape is called, translated the new castle of the Pope, because the Pope used to live there, that moved from Rome to Avignon during the 14th century. We didn't stop at that point in time, but I thought today we're going to try and taste the wine or travel through that area through the glass. The other thing that kind of resonated with me of recent times around Drops of God, the movie.
Yep.
A good part of it was filmed in that Chateauneuf-du-Pape area or region. But also one of the things that kind of stood out for me when they had to do one of those tests.
Yeah.
When they had Issei and Camille,
Yep.
and they had to kind of like blind taste a red wine.
Yep.
Then they had to go to the Chateauneuf-du-Pape area where they had to try and blend and recreate as accurately as possible that same wine.
Yep.
And with Chateauneuf-du-Pape, I don't know whether you know, but you need 13 grape varieties that could comprise of that type of wine.
Gosh, that's hard.
So that was the first one. Oh my God, I didn't know there's 13 different grape varieties and go to one glass of wine. It sounds like an impossible challenge, but Drops of God, they're magical. They can make things happen.
I was already impressed by the Pinot Shiraz, but now there's another one.
I
Jeez.
know, 13 grape varietals. You know, I get confused already by the Macca's menu. But to give you a bit of background on CDP.
Yep, that works.
Yeah, it was the first appellation, you know, on France to get that kind of AOP designation in 1936. The one thing you also notice as well, on the bottles, they have these really cool emblems, you know, that's kind of on the glass that designates why it's Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So you see this across both the reds and the whites. Location, Southeast France, we'll show a bit later. Avignon and Orange is basically the big towns, a bit further northeast of Nice. Elevation, not that high, 50 to 125 meters above sea level. The climate, Mediterranean climate, hot, dry summers, mild, wet winters. But the big thing about that area is around the soils, or should I say the pebbles.
Yeah.
If you look at Chateauneuf-du-Pape, look at the pebbles there, they're called galetsroules, which is like rolled pebbles. It used to be an ancient seabed. And when you think about like ancient seabeds before, it used to be the kind of big kind of pebbles along the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And across it, so these kind of white pebbles across it. And the benefits of that one is that it takes in the heat during the day, but at the night they release that heat back onto the grapes. And what that does is it aids in the ripening of the grapes through the night as well. And that's one of the big things, the things that it's made famous for. It also prevents diseases as it evaporates the water, so kind of mold, mildew issues around grapes. So that has that benefit. The other soils there, limestone and clay on the west, but on the east is sandy marly soils, so different types of wines. On the west, it'll have the mineral, more saline type of wines. On the right, because of sandy marly soils, it creates a bit more delicate, silky type of wines. Other fun facts of Chateauneuf-du-Pape, 320 wine growers in that area, 3,150 hectares in the region, 93% are red, 7% is Chateauneuf-du-Pape white, and nearly 75% of the vineyards are dedicated to Grenache or Garnacha. Chateauneuf-du-Pape comes in both red and white varietals. As I mentioned, 93%, 7% white. For the whites, it's made of a blend of Grenache Blanc, Roussanne, Claret, Bourbon and Picpoul. White flowers, citrus, stone fruits, great with roast chickens. But the ones that we're going to try today is the red Chateauneuf-du-Pape.
Mm.
Okay, for the red ones, generally Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. In Australia, GSM, Grenache, Shiraz, Mataro. But up to 13 grape varietals are allowed. Flavor profile generally around the red Chateauneuf-du-Pape is rich, full-bodied, complex, ripe red, black fruit, spice, herbs like garrigue, which is a rosemary, thyme, earthy, leathery notes. The big producers around the area that you may have heard of is Chateau Beaucastel, Chateau Reyes, Chapoutier, Guigal, and Domaine Vieux Terroir.
Never heard of any of those, but that's just me. Yes.
So I was, again, fascinated about Chateauneuf-du-Pape off the drops of God and something we haven't done before in the winedup.
Mm.
So I picked up this bottle, which is a 2011 Clos du Pape's Chateauneuf-du-Pape that I picked up recently during my trip to Hong Kong, where I went to one of the cellars there and I asked, what's the kind of drink now Chateauneuf-du-Pape that we can try? And they said this one, 2011. So it's got 13 years of age onto it. It's got 65% Grenache, 20% Mourvèdre or Mataro, and 15% Syrah or Shiraz. You're trying it at the moment, but what stands out to you?
I wrote down three things as you were talking and as I was tasting. One was balance. I think the balance between the 13 varieties of fruit, but also all of the dynamics around the tannins, around the body, around the acidity. I think it's really well balanced. The other thing I wrote about was I thought the tannins itself was quite soft for this wine. It reminded me of a recent episode we did around Merlot, where it was surprisingly non-intrusive is the way I would describe it. It really makes it enjoyable to drink. And then the third thing was something you said about chicken stuffing, which I think you were referring to the white wines. But actually the herbiness comes through in regards to this. And you said, I think it was rosemary and thyme.
Yeah.
That kind of herbiness comes through with this wine, which just adds to this complexity. This is a really, really nice wine.
Yeah. The thing you mentioned there was around, the non-intrusive tannins. And I definitely get that. And normally associate with kind of big wines, big juicy wines with big tannins.
Yes.
And it's not the case here. Because I think with Grenache, again, it's not kind of thick skin, but it still has a Syrah there, but less percentage. But the big thing there is, we said before, what Notorious B.I.G. would say is it's juicy. Juicy.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing that really comes through. The other notes that I put down was mouth puckering, cherry, blackberries, that kind of garrigue, rosemary, thyme that comes through, black pepper, dark plum. When you get those really juicy dark plums, they bite into it and the juice kind of drips down your chin onto your shirt.
I imagine that because I don't really eat fruit, but I can imagine.
It's exactly like that, this juicy dark plum that's just ripe, ready to eat, and you just go and demolish it.
Yeah. If I had a Trent AI bot doing that in front of me, I would understand that.
Yeah. So I find this so big, but then we use that term, the velvet glove. It's got power, but elegance and length that carries and carries and carries.
Yeah. You're saying big. I think you're saying big in terms of the juiciness.
Yeah.
And I completely agree, but it's not powerful, I guess is what it is. It's just, I don't know, the balance of it is what's astounding. That's a cracker.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those wines that really takes you back and makes you think. It talks about food pairings as well. The ones that they recommend is roast lamb, beef stew, duck breast, venison, aged cheeses, Comté Gruyere. I could kind of see that happening. Has that kind of fullness to it that really balance well with that. But I think also like a roast chicken with those kind of rosemary, butter, garlic, with a kind of like cream sauce or that richness would really do well.
I think about like a aged Barolo or something like that, where it's still quite powerful, and you kind of need to rest a bit when you're having it. This isn't that. It's easy to drink at the same time complex.
Yeah, As I mentioned before, when I went to the Hong Kong shop, I asked what's ready to drink now, and I feel like this is exactly the right drinking window to drink now. It's a mix of age, power, elegance, primary, tertiary, secondary kind of flavors coming through in harmony.
harmony is the right word because it's not like those tertiary flavors are overpowering it, which is what you could get with some aged wines. It's still fruity and it's juicy. Notorious B.I.G. That's great.
Juicy.
What do you think? Corkscrews. Wow. Feel like you're going to already say it.
9 out of 10.
Absolutely. If Notorious B.I.G. was having this, he'd be going 9 out of 10 and he'd say juicy at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this. That's delicious. I think 9 out of 10 as well. Absolutely.
Any thoughts? Last thoughts?
I think, so Chateauneuf-du-Pape, you got to pronounce it right, was from the area where the Pope was living. Is that
Correct,
right?
Yeah.
I think this is angelic. I think this is a perfect...
Papal?
Papal doesn't sound too good. I think this is an amazing wine and everyone should give this a crack. Thank you for sharing it. What do you think?
Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. Like sometimes there's expectation and then reality. But this one, it kind of surpasses my expectation.
Like the Pope?
Yeah. Like the Pope, exactly. It's like this kind of hallelujah moment.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Thank you for sharing that. Let us know in the comments below if everyone should be calling this a CDP. Otherwise, give us your recommendations around a Chateauneuf-du-Pape.
Well done.
As we like to say here, drink more, try more, learn more. Thanks all.